Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Denizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy, culture, and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
Well, this is our lineup for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so stay with us. Well, we start things off with Executive Insight. So, Utsuda-san, who are we hearing from today?
Well, today, as you can see, we have some items in the studio. They're dress shirts.
Yes.
And you could say they're an essential item for business people. And this time we'll be looking at a company called Maker's Shirt Kamakura, or Kamakura Shirt for short, which sells original dress shirts.
Well, there are so many shirts makers everywhere. So, what's different about these shirts?
Well, usually many in this industry offer high-quality products at a high price. But in contrast, this company's concept is to offer high-quality products at a reasonable price.
Well, reasonable price meaning?
Meaning, well, all shirts that they sell are priced at $50.
I see.
And they say they came up with this price tag because it's about the same amount of money people spend on drinks after work. So if you skip one night out drinking, you can buy one shirt.
I see. Well, at the same time, though, I know that the Japanese apparel makers are facing a tough time with the shrinking domestic market.
You're absolutely right. I have a chart over here. And as you can see, in 2011, the size of the apparel retail market in Japan was over $90 billion. And of that, menswear accounted for about $25 billion. But as you can see, in recent years, growth has been flat.
Interesting. Well, I get the impression that differentiation as menswear is very difficult, especially with something like these dress shirts.
You're very right. That's actually a big issue for the makers in this industry. And as a result, price wars break out frequently. So to find out how Maker's Shirt Kamakura sets itself apart from the competition, I spoke with its chairman, Yoshio Sadasue. So take a look.
Executive Insight. 7 in the evening, Tokyo Station. A shopping arcade inside an office building. There's a place here that's bustling with office workers who've just gotten off work. A branch of Kamakura Shirts.
They have a good balance between price and quality. The shirt I bought here before was comfortable. The hem didn't get untucked.
The name Kamakura Shirts is derived from the company's birthplace in the ancient Japanese capital of Kamakura. The main store is located here. We caught up with the founder and chairman, Yoshio Sadasue.
You have many different colors and patterns.
They're arranged by size, so you can choose from many styles. You won't find this much variety in one place, not even in a department store.
The biggest characteristic is the wide variety. There are over 50 different styles. The shirts are arranged by size. All customers need to do is find a corresponding shelf. What's more, everything is priced at $50, so customers can shop without having to look at the price tag every time.
When people are wearing a good shirt, they're seen as fashionable. With a poor quality shirt, it shows, no matter how good a suit you're wearing.
The company operates 24 stores in Japan and 1 in New York. They sell 600,000 shirts annually, with revenue exceeding $32 million. Sales have continued to grow for 10 straight years. The company is one of the fastest growing apparel makers in Japan. Their shirts have a reputation for being comfortable. One reason is the underside of the shirt that's directly in contact with a person's skin.
You're right, the fabric is tucked in.
It's the sewing method under the arms. Typically, a lock stitch is used, with the thread wrapped around and around. You can make a shirt quickly this way, but it rubs against your skin.
The fabric is rolled in and sewn to prevent it from protruding. As a result, the edges of the fabric don't rub against the skin. When a lock-stitch sewing machine is used, as is most often the case, the underside ends up looking like this. Naturally, the feel of the shirts is affected. Another reason behind the comfort is the way the armhole is sewn. It's rounded. Compared to other shirts, the difference is clear. As it is sewn three-dimensionally, the fabric expands. This extra leeway ensures that the hem doesn't become untucked. Another secret to the comfort, they say, are the buttons.
Shell buttons. Each one has a different color. Plastic buttons cost a cent, but shell buttons are 13 or 14 cents apiece.
Natural shells have a textured surface, making them less slippery than plastic and easier to handle. Shirts are priced at $50 each. Mr. Sadasue says there's a reason for this.
Top quality shirts typically cost over $100, but with my salary at the time, I could only afford to pay $50 at most. I wanted to sell shirts to people like me, so I decided I'd sell top quality shirts for $50.
The cost of making one shirt is said to be about 60% of the price. The industry average is 20 to 30%. So how are they able to lock in a profit? Typically, apparel makers go through intermediaries to order products from textile and fabric factories, most of which are located abroad. Kamakura Shirts deals directly with domestic factories, cutting out the middlemen. What's more, Mr. Sadasue personally visits China to procure textiles.
The most considerate service I can provide customers is to go to factories in their place and procure products. We are an agent for the customer. It's as simple as that.
Mr. Sadasue's ideas originated in his early career. He previously worked at apparel maker Van, which was hugely popular in Japan from the 1960s to 1970s. At the time, it was a brand that sold as many products as they could make. But because of mass production, they were unable to ensure the quality of each item and eventually went bankrupt. In 1993, Mr. Sadasue decided to set up Kamakura Shirts, but with a different distribution system than that of the conventional apparel industry. The aim was to eliminate intermediary costs so that products could be sold at low prices. He also focused on making things in Japan.
Why do you insist on production in Japan?
If we have a direct connection with factories in Japan and negotiate with them, there's no need to mass produce. Here we can set up a system of making only as much as we can sell. That's not possible abroad.
The company has partnerships with 11 factories nationwide that carry out the sewing process. This factory also makes shirts for other high-end brands.
Kamakura Shirts accounts for about half of our monthly production volume. We get a constant flow of orders from them, so it helps our business.
Because the company puts in orders for a set volume of shirts on a constant basis, the factory is able to manufacture them at a low cost. They say there's another advantage of working with contract factories.
We'll give them a design pattern and ask them to sew it in a certain way. But they're always looking for ways to make something better. And we'll come up with shapes that go beyond our designs.
Mr. Sadasue is now taking on the global market with his Made in Japan shirts. In October 2012, he opened his first overseas store on Madison Avenue in New York. It stands shoulder to shoulder with the many top international brands located on the street.
Why New York?
New York is the toughest market. It's home to many great businessmen. I think they're all extremely fashionable and wear top quality shirts. If we can go out there and get people to say that our shirts are great, then we can consider ourselves number one in the world. We've been preparing all along, aiming for the very top.
How has the reception been?
When we first started selling shirts with a breast pocket, the reaction we got was, "This isn't a shirt." On the first day, I was helping out a customer, and he told me, "You're the owner. What's with this pocket?" I broke out in a cold sweat. It was embarrassing.
He didn't like the style?
Yes, we couldn't sell any.
In Japan, dress shirts typically have a breast pocket. It is a feature that many customers demand. But Mr. Sadasue found that the international standard was no breast pockets for dress shirts. After listening to customers' preferences, he immediately ordered a new batch of pocketless shirts from the factory in Japan. A month later, they were on store shelves. So what do customers think now?
I think that, it's the culmination of all, attention to detail and all of Japan's visual culture that is so strong.
What's more, they recently received an order from Boulet, a high-end French restaurant in New York. Shirts to go with the uniform of the staff. This is the original shirt supplied to the restaurant in July. What attracted Chef David Boulet to Kamakura shirts?
That they understood our needs and that they were going to spend a little extra time getting to know us better, which is really an artisanal relationship. The comfort of the fabric was very important for us too. In this kind of a restaurant, we are all, constantly moving quickly, and I wanted them to be comfortable and look crisp.
What's your vision for the business?
In terms of the future, it won't be about what I want to do. I believe our customers around the world will tell us what they want us to do and expect of us.
Finally, we asked Mr. Sadasue to take us to where it all started. It's right above a convenience store. A small space.
It's quite amazing. When you started here, you probably never imagined you'd open a store in New York.
If we didn't go through this, we wouldn't have made an effort. We'd be satisfied with small sales. It's over when you feel satisfied.
With the apparel industry stuck in a downturn, will the company's strategy succeed? Their challenge continues.
Where we see nothing, there could be anything. Panasonic is putting the endless energy of the sun to work. Generating, storing, and managing energy efficiently. Helping power our daily lives.
A better life, a better world. Panasonic.
The view is almost like peering down on the star-filled night sky at your feet. It's the city at night seen from a height of 450 meters. Make unforgettable memories. City light stretching for as far as the eye can see. Find it at Tokyo Skytree.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. In the next segment, we show you an episode from popular economics program. Today, it's from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Utsuda-san, what's the topic today?
And we'll be looking at a report on dental clinics. Demi-san, how many times do you go to a dentist a year?
Maybe like 3 times a year to get my regular checkup and to clean my teeth.
Oh, you're good then. You go to regular checkups.
Right.
That's a good thing to do. Now, it's said that the number of dental clinics in Japan has reached a saturation point. And just to show you how many there are in the country, we have a comparison with the number of convenience stores. As you can see, in January 2013, there were about 49,000 convenience stores. And we only have data for 2012 for the number of dental clinics, but it stood at 68,000.
Wow, that many. But actually, it's not that surprising because there's so many dental clinics around where I live, so the competition may be very severe.
You could say that. Now, because of that intense competition, many dental clinics have gone into bankruptcy. But even so, amid this, some are growing in business, taking up unconventional methods. So take a look.
Nihonbashi, Tokyo.
こんにちは。ここ受付なんですけれども。
In the lobby, there's a stream of water and relaxing background music. It's not what you would expect at a dentist.
違いますね。
This is the Aqua Nihonbashi Dental Clinic, opened last month. The atmosphere is more like that found in a hotel or beauty salon.
よろしくお願いします。
What is the concept here?
A dentist that soothes your soul with a focus on women.
Their target customer? Women. They've even set up a women's only waiting room. Our reporter decides to get the full experience.
I'm the treatment coordinator, Ito. My job is to find out the needs of the patient and communicate that to the doctor.
An all-women staff of consultants. They say this is to understand any issues that women may have difficulty in directly communicating to the doctor.
Problems with past dentists. Landmines? Meaning topics patients would rather avoid? Yes, many people are reluctant to see a dentist.
While they use the latest equipment, the main differentiator is the service geared toward mostly working women in central Tokyo.
I want this to be a place where people come enthusiastically and feel refreshed, like after going to a beauty salon or hotel.
A small boy is going somewhere with a smile on his face. Here, a unique initiative is underway to transform the dentistry profession. The decor inside is colorful, and in the lobby are numerous toys. This is a dentist, but for some reason the children appear to be enjoying themselves. Aso Kids Dental Park specializes in pediatric dentistry. An almost theme park-like atmosphere has been created in the waiting room. And underway is...
Brushing teeth is number 1.
The children listen intently. This is a class to teach the importance of brushing teeth. They learn how to use toothbrushes on their own. When the class is over, they move to the examination room. The relaxing atmosphere appears to have had an effect. Most of the children don't make a fuss or cry.
She thinks the dentist is a fun place and brushes her teeth enthusiastically.
This clinic for children was opened 4 years ago by Aso Dental Clinic, which specializes in general dentistry. Their motto is preventative dental care from age 0. They see an average of about 80 patients a day. Their roster has been growing, mostly by word of mouth. In fact, this facility was set up in consultation with Kids Dental Park, a subsidiary of advertising firm Hakuhodo.
Preventative care requires a change in the habits of patients. As an ad agency, we're good at communicating a new design for society.
In advising the clinic, they put a particular focus on building up the staff's awareness of patient needs. Before the opening, the doctors, hygienists, and childcare specialists attended a team-building training camp that incorporated business know-how. Based on the achievements here, they've also begun providing the same service to other clinics.
There was a time when dentists didn't have anything to do, but not only treating patients, but helping them to keep their teeth, we can build a closer relationship with them. There are still many things the dentistry field needs to do.
Dentistry is said to be a saturated industry. Even so, there are certain shortages. A clinic in central Tokyo. It's already closing time, but the head dentist leaves the building carrying a large bag and box. Getting into his car, he drives about 15 minutes. This is the home of Mr. Oigawa, who has difficulty walking.
Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt, but you drilled a tooth, right? Well, I feel some discomfort when I eat.
Since March, Dr. Watanabe has been coming here once every 2 weeks to treat Mr. Oigawa. On this day, he's checking the fit of dentures that have just been completed.
Please bite. Does it feel a bit high? The right side feels high.
The doctor adjusts the dentures to match the patient's bite. Everything from treatment with anesthesia to the making of the mold has been done on location.
I can't go to the dentist without assistance. And I'd have to go almost every day. It got so bothersome, I pulled my teeth out.
The doctor had been visiting the homes of some patients physically unable to come to the clinic. But 2 years ago, he purchased specialized equipment, allowing him to do this regularly.
It's not how I imagine it to be. Lots of patients are dealing with tooth problems, but can't make it to the clinic.
He sets aside time outside of regular duties for house calls, but requests have grown, and he says he has appointments every day. While the dentistry field is said to be saturated, only 30% of clinics make house calls. With the aging population, the Health Ministry has expressed concern about the situation. To encourage dentists to make house calls, they started offering incentives. The demand for regular dentistry services has limited the number of clinics able to offer house calls until now. But the industry is said to have reached a major turning point.
The situation is increasingly changing, so the dentists who were hesitant until now are feeling compelled to start services. I believe our responsibility is to create that incentive.
As the industry becomes ever more crowded, dentists may need to cut their teeth on something other than simple checkups.
Utsuda-san, next we'll be looking at initiatives to turn unused data into profit.
Yes, that's right. Now, recently there's been a big focus on a movement called big data, open data. And by publicizing and allowing anyone to freely use various data compiled by the government or businesses, new forms of public-private cooperation are being born.
Well, exactly what kind of data are being made available?
Well, what's being called big data refers to things that include government or corporate statistics, and they could include things like what popular products online or popular search terms. And it doesn't obviously include personal data, but we do generate a vast range of information as we go about our daily lives. And with the advances in information communication technologies, they are increasingly being digitalized.
Well, that's undoubtedly a huge amount of information, right?
It certainly is. And the promotion of open data, of publicizing that information for secondary use, is attracting attention as a way to develop new businesses and help revitalize local economies.
Also, people are focusing on this big data because of economic effect.
Yes. So this is pretty large. According to recent research, Japan's open data market size is about $12 billion in GDP terms, and the economic effect is estimated to be about $55 billion. So take a look.
Sabae, Fukui Prefecture. Known as the town of eyeglasses, Sabae boasts a 90% market share of eyeglass frames in Japan. One man is apparently searching for something using a mobile phone application.
What you see over there is the restroom of Higashi Park. There are 5 stalls for men and 4 for women, plus a diaper changing station.
What he's looking for are public restrooms. He's using an application called Toire Concierge. With GPS, it locates the nearest restroom. The developer is Taisuke Fukuno, the president of an IT firm. Why provide this much detail?
Data maintained by Sabae City is used directly, allowing us to realize a restroom navigation service using the latest information.
The development of this application was made possible by an initiative known as Open Data. Open data refers to the release of various information held by local governments and public institutions for use by private businesses. Sabae has been one of the earliest adopters of open data nationwide. The effort has been spearheaded by Mayor Hyakuo Makino. We followed him to the information and PR section.
We set up a group to promote open data and open government in April this year. We plan to fully open up our data and position Sabae as a data city.
So far, they've publicized 24 categories of data, including fire hydrant locations and city bus information. Based on that, private businesses have developed 40 applications in the past year.
Data can be used in various ways when there's a free flow of ideas.
There's a reason why Sabae is taking such active interest in promoting open data. Eyeglasses, the city's primary industry, have been losing out to low-cost imports. Shipments have fallen by over $400 million from the peak. So the city decided to open up the data it has to the public and cooperate with private businesses to create new industries. On this day, 2 city employees go to a conference room at a local shopping arcade. Awaiting them is Mr. Fukuno from the IT startup.
I want to get location information on street lamps. How many places are there? Do you have that data?
I don't think we do.
We'd like that data to create a nighttime street map so people can find well-lit and safe places to walk. Sounds good. If it's easy to use, I think it'll be good.
Mr. Fukuno takes something out. It's a pair of eyeglasses with computer-like functions.
This can be attached to regular eyeglasses. I call it clip-on type cyber eyeglasses. It'll tell you when the bus is coming or where the restrooms are.
Using open data, they want to create something called cyber eyeglasses, leveraging the strengths of the local industry. A big catalyst, of course, is Google Glass.
We can't let Google just take this away from us. Sabae is known for eyeglasses. The time has come for Sabae to show off its technology to the world.
Through open data, Sabae is hoping to nurture IT into a new local industry.
Lots of people are coming here with the idea of starting up an IT business and ask if we offer subsidy measures. IT will be the next local industry after eyeglasses, lacquerware and textiles. We want to work together with businesses to firmly position it as our 4th local industry. The new business opportunities are limitless.
Open data is part of a growth strategy plan compiled by the government. Underscoring its importance, it has been actively promoted by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Ichita Yamamoto heads the government's IT task force.
IT is one of the pillars of our growth strategy, and under our IT strategy, we consider open data as a major tool to achieve economic revitalization. By combining public and private data, we can create industries with new value and services. We estimate that the annual economic effect will reach $54 billion.
All government ministries and agencies will launch open data initiatives in the next 3 years. Chiba is another city that has been actively implementing open data. Inside a conference room in the mayor's office.
Second place is absolutely unacceptable. We need to be considered number 1 without fail.
Chiba Mayor Toshihito Kumagai stresses that their biggest aim is to improve administrative operations through the use of IT, such as open data. On this day, he's meeting with a certain internet company.
I'm Koga from Yahoo.
In the room are executives from major internet firm Yahoo.
We naturally have various information. If a company like Yahoo considers something interesting, that information probably has value. So we'd really like to get many opinions from you.
The mayor has been exploring possibilities of getting businesses to take advantage of the government's massive trove of data.
Data on AEDs, restroom locations, and city services are relatively easy to obtain. Information government approvals and licenses are difficult to get.
Information such as notification on restaurant openings and closings.
On the table are lists of business licenses issued by the city's health department to restaurants. Until now, the data wasn't actively publicized. Yahoo believes this information can be turned into a business. That's because the company runs a service called Yahoo Loco, which provides regional information. But they have had difficulty in collecting data on restaurant openings and closings.
There are many cases in which a store that's actually closed is listed as being open.
If information on which restaurants are closed and open can be provided by the city through open data, they believe the quality of the service will improve, helping to grow users and increase advertising revenue. The city's response is,
currently, we only have paper copies of information on openings, closings, and bankruptcies. In the future, we'll publicize the data, and in that way, you'll be able to download the data and search in real time which stores are operating.
the mayor plans to actively promote the release of data like this that is collecting dust in the city office.
Until now, governments have been the least open about data in society. By simply allowing this buried data to be utilized, businesses will naturally and undoubtedly be able to create added value. I want Chiba to be the frontrunner and an example for the entire country.
By combining the massive amount of data held by the government and private sector, open data can give birth to new businesses and limitless possibilities.
内田さん In addition to Sabai and Chiba, I understand there are other local governments and companies pushing ahead with independent initiatives.
Yes, that seems to be the case. Now, for example, Saitama Prefecture is working with a car maker to analyze driving data of people using car navigation systems to pinpoint areas prone to sudden braking. And with this information, they've set up signs to alert drivers to be careful and also made improvements to the roads. And as a result, they say cases of sudden braking fell about 70%. And also, accidents declined by about 20%.
Wow, impressive. But how can this initiative be expanded in the future?
Well, yes. To promote open data, regional governments and public organizations will need to become more proactive in publicizing the data they have and come up with specific measures to do so. And also, it'll be even more necessary to encourage individuals and private businesses to take advantage of this trove of data to create new value and services, because without that, the economic effect will be limited.
After the break, we'll bring you a report on the Asian economy.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Echo changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Matsui and Company.
ยังจำได้หรือเปล่านะเรื่องต่างๆที่เกิดขึ้นตอนวาดรูปนี้แต่ถ้ารถยนต์ในฝันของฉันมีจริงฉันคงจะมีความสุขมากเลย
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Welcome back to Channel Japan. Next we'll be talking about Asia. Well, Utsuda-san, it seems to be a pretty big topic.
It is, isn't it? Now, let me start off by outlining the position of Asia in relation to the rest of the world. What's interesting is there's actually no strict definition of where Asia is as to which countries and areas are included. But it does cover a vast area that includes countries like China, India, Indonesia and Japan. And in terms of economic scale, it's clearly massive, and also it continues to expand as countries undergo rapid development.
I see. Well, while Asia is frequently seen as a factory of the world, but it's also becoming the consumer market of the world as well.
It is. And Asia is becoming increasingly integrated through organizations such as ASEAN, and there's a concerted effort to drive the development of the entire region.
Well, I understand we'll be talking about the international forum called the Future of Asia, which is held in Tokyo every year.
You're right. It's been held annually since 1995, and it brings together political and business leaders to discuss development of the region. And this year actually marks the 40th year of ASEAN-Japan relations. And for ASEAN members, strengthening relations with Japan is important, but a key issue now is how to deal with the rise of China and find ways to cooperate and coexist.
Well, at the same time that the economic relationship among Asia is deepening, so I understand there were a lot of discussion about that issue as well.
Yes, that's right. Now, I had a chance to interview some of the participants to get their views on the future of the region, so take a look.
The Project Japan. The Future of Asia brings together government and business leaders from across the Asia-Pacific to exchange ideas and discuss a variety of topics pertinent to the region.
Asia, where new leading players are emerging one after another, is poised to take center stage in the global economy.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was also in attendance and spoke about the role of Japan in the region.
Japan shrinking away economically would bring quite an unwelcome impact to other countries. Japan must once more become a vibrant member of an Asia that is young and full of vitality.
Many heads of state and cabinet members from ASEAN nations are here to exchange their views. How do they plan to achieve further growth? We asked the first female Prime Minister of Thailand, Yingluck Shinawatra.
Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra achieved a V-shaped economic recovery last year, with growth accelerating to 6% due to her stimulus measures. She is recognized domestically and internationally as representing a new generation of leaders.
I propose that we should direct our investment to build connectivities, both on land and sea. Asia is mostly a large land continent covering two oceans, Indian and Pacific. A modern Silk Road to connect the region will become the new Asia-Euro land bridge linking two continents.
What is her strategy for future growth?
How do you want to position Thailand in Asia, and what is your strategy to drive future development?
We have announced a basic investment strategy of 2 trillion baht. This is a 7-year plan. This plan includes a high-speed train and port expansion. The aim is to link Dawei to Lem Chaban, all the way to the Indian Ocean. We also plan to expand cooperation with neighboring countries. By improving this framework, Asian countries can deepen cooperation and integration and develop a trading strategy. I am confident this will lead to further development of the region.
Among ASEAN nations, Singapore is the most advanced economically and has emerged as the financial hub of the region. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, entering his 10th year in office, points out a critical factor in ensuring that the region continues on this path of growth.
This is the most important bilateral relationship for both countries and for Asia, and indeed for the world. US and Chinese leaders want constructive and stable ties with each other. Japan's external relations are vital to the region. Japan's security alliance with the US has anchored peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific since the war ended. We are happy that US-Japan relations are in good shape, but this doesn't make it less important for Japan to maintain good relations with its other important partners in Asia.
The deputy prime ministers of Vietnam and Cambodia also joined the conference to outline their strategies as members of the rapidly growing ASEAN region.
As a coastal country, Vietnam attached great importance to the promotion of maritime comparative advantages for trading within and outside the region. Vietnam proposes that countries in the region consider establishing an annual mechanism for substantive open dialogue on development plans for shipping services, maritime security and safety, combating of piracy, search and rescue, and information sharing on national disaster warning at sea.
The challenge for Cambodia is to catch up with the economic level of the neighboring country, namely ASEAN nation. International trade and foreign direct investment are crucial for Cambodia industrial upgrade. Cambodia is committed to further strengthening macroeconomic policy, improving the business climate and logistics, facilitating trade in cross-border transportation, mobilizing fiscal revenue to increase investment in infrastructure and human capital.
ASEAN is aiming to create a single market by 2015. How does the former Secretary General of ASEAN see the region's future?
The differences among us and between us in all areas would certainly put a lot of stress on the economic community that we are establishing. There will be some, hesitation, some certain restraint about opening up, about integrating. That to be expected, and so we have to somehow work very hard. Again, looking at the vision rather than the immediate narrow national interest. We must be inspired by the future. That's how ASEAN has been working together for the last 45 years, motivated by the future.
Mahathir bin Mohamad, the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, says there's one issue that must not be overlooked in the region's pursuit of economic growth.
When countries compete with each other, they do not compete on equal terms. Some are able to compete much more than others because they have economies of scale, they have better capital, more capital, they have know-how, they have management skills. For newly developing countries, the best way is still to have foreign direct investment. That's how Malaysia grew.
The Deputy Prime Minister of Laos also called for greater focus on regional disparities.
Economic integration and the strengthening of regional ties may offer opportunities for developed countries, but remain very challenging for countries that are not prepared. For everyone to enjoy the benefits of globalization, it is necessary for developed countries to give sufficient consideration to those that are still developing.
Regional integration is heightening hopes of continued economic development in Asia. But Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Managing Director of the World Bank, points to the challenges ahead.
Regional arrangements such as ASEAN have been successful in developing an open regionalism that has served the members well. Super-regional efforts such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership could enhance regional arrangement as long as they are inclusive and sensitive to countries' different stages of development. Indeed, increasingly developing countries in East Asia are becoming middle-income countries. But history also tells us that few countries succeed in moving from middle income to high income.
What view does the governor of Japan's central bank have on ASEAN cooperation?
I believe that Japan's financial capital markets can play an important role in supplying the capital necessary for Asia to develop. Japan has an enormous amount of savings. Effective utilization of those savings will benefit both Japan and other Asian nations.
Stability is crucial for the development of Asia. The territorial disputes and rising tensions on the Korean Peninsula were also taken up as major issues confronting the region.
How do you see the situation on the Korean Peninsula, as I believe it strongly relates to regional security?
At this moment, China adjusted the policy toward North Korea, and we find that we do get our relationship with North Korea worse, but we still do not have the capability to stop North Korea from continue their nuclear programs.
The idea that American nuclear weapons can provide so-called extended deterrence for allied countries, that we might go into a nuclear war, say, to defend an ally like South Korea, I think that's no longer plausible.
I want China to take a bigger role regarding North Korea.
ARF, the ASEAN Regional Forum, should have some contribution into the search for the solution of the problems of the Korean Peninsula.
In the realm of politics, many sensitive issues such as border and territorial disputes linger. However, what became clear through the discussions is that these conflicts should not hamper positive developments in other areas. Participants agree that interdependence among Asian nations has never been deeper, and strengthening regional cooperation is key to achieve further growth. At the conference, former Malaysian Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the Asian century has arrived. The question is how to take advantage of this opportunity.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so don't forget to tune in next week.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation. Trading card games transcend generations as well as borders. Trading card games will unite the world. However, the possibilities do not simply end there. Trading card games combine the different forms of entertainment, and fun will link the world as one. Bushiroad.